Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cocktails and Rocktails with me, your most notorious groupie, Alice Rouse, author of this little book right here, Not So Little and Not Even the Whole Story, only half. These other little books right here, where you can get that, my funny merchandise, everything down in that description. So go down, fiddle about, use your fingers, little foreplay. Always helps. All right, and as always, I like to start out so thankful of everybody here, and you know I always am. You guys provide me not just great conversation, but really great friendships, opportunities, meeting other women who come on the show. I'm meeting up with Catherine on Sunday, and Tina has got me an interview with a 91.9 The Tribe radio station in Adelaide, Australia, you guys. That's going to be happening Saturday, 1 a.m. Midnight California time, 4 a.m. New York time. So if you're waking up on the East Coast, hit it up, you guys. So excited to do it because it's going to be live, and I love doing live because you never know what can happen, and I hope it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of good stuff, a lot of great questions. I think it's going to be awesome, and thank you, Tina, for getting that for me, and Desiree, everybody, I can't even, just all the ladies that have come on, Miss Melanie, like I said, Desiree, Diana, Kristen's going to be doing some more stuff, a few of her own episodes. So, it's just amazing what this has grown into from me just starting to read my stupid little book, my book, that I did all on my own, and it's just really amazing that how this has grown, and I'm really excited about it. So thank you guys so much. Let's get this sold for a movie or a series. That's what we need to do. Rock and roll needs a little bit of fresh air, and Lord knows that Almost Famous groupie bullshit does too. Us 80 ladies needs to come take our power in. So, all right, and speaking of power, you guys, today's episode, it is going to talk about, because something in the Anita Pallenberg documentary really hit home. A few things did, but this one really hit home, and I felt so much for her because, she was talking about the Rolling Stones became a corporation. And it kind of broke her heart a little bit. And it's like, well, and a lot of people are like, well, where'd you expect it to go? In the comments and stuff, I'm like, yeah, but when you're the woman at home, the girlfriend at home, the wife on the road wife, the groupie, whatever you are to that band, if that band is a big part of your life and you're around them a whole bunch and you're making all kinds of memories and music and all kinds of things together, that really creates an impact. So today we're going to talk about when bands go corporate. And speaking of corporate, because this is, a national little brewery. These guys are small, kind of went big, got bought out, but still really excited that they're on my liquor store shelves. The Boulevard, we know how much I love these. Very high little alcohol content because, go big or go home. That's always my motto. So, all right, everybody, kick up your feet. Grab your stouty stouts. I can't do that. I'll get a violation. Anyway, grab your stouts, kick up your feet, and let's have a little cocktails and rocktails. Cheers, big ears. It's a little too early for the cheers, big ears, but you guys know. You know. All right, here we go. Cheers, big ears. I love this one. It never gets old. Ooh. So I think every so often, and I know a lot of brew houses do this, they switch up the whiskey they're using, the whiskey barrels and stuff that they use in their soaks. That tastes a little different. And I love it, don't get me wrong, but it tastes a little sweeter than normal, so I wonder if they switched up their batches. But, all right, speaking of switching up the batch, let's get rocking and talking. Sorry, I'm being so cheesy today. But okay, so, you kind of think about the bands, we watch them go from like smaller, big time opening bands to even playing arenas. They can still have that passion. They can still have that camaraderie, that extra something, that magic, that humanness, that openness, that heart and soul that they put into the music. No matter how big you are, as long as you have that, you're still going to be amazing. As long as you don't like the corporate, because business will become part of the bands quite a lot. The bigger you come, the bigger the business. Bon Jovi talks about it in their documentary. and Bon Jovi, they kind of, I think that documentary really kind of personified who the CEO was, kind of really, it was part of the business. This is what we do these days. We do documentaries and this and this and that. We put our lives out there. Well, I thought that's what we always did in song, like Eminem, like Taylor Swift, like Metallica used to do once upon a time. So, and my notes are over there. I know I don't rehearse, but when I think of something that really I truly feel about, the subject I'm talking about, I write it down. So, but I mean, what a lot of people don't get about when it comes to groupies and bands, we're this family. We create memories. We know each other's intimacies, and I'm not talking physical, just physical, because we do know that as well. But, no. Okay, I thought I didn't press. Did I just snot in the camera? Sorry. Here I am who I am, and I have allergies and still recovering from the COVIDs. But anywho, so you're with this band. You create like with Danny and I in Metallica, with Anita and Marianne Faithfull, with the Rolling Stones, stuff like that. How I was with Vincent Paul, I got to know Pantera inside and out. And look what they've become. Corporate greed, because they all need some money in their pockets. Because they think they pull. And now they're sucking the fucking life out of that band. There's no life in it. So that's one of the things that can happen when you turn corporate as a rock band. But when it comes to being the groupie, it really is hardcore. Because a lot of people were like, oh, it's just a band. Yeah, like she had anything to do with it. Well, she was a huge part of the Rolling Stones. She was connected to each one of the guys somehow, some way, for whatever reason. But it's like watching your family implode. It's just like watching, 48 Hours or Dateline or Missing People or something, because you see like this, your family fall apart. You don't know where you belong anymore. And is this the person that you actually fell for? Is this the band and not just the lead singer or the drummer or the guitar player that you fell for? Is this the band that you just had so much excitement for, that really touched you in 12 different ways? Are there new albums? Because, being a groupie, it's not about being a starfucker. It's about bonding with something that connected to you. It's about getting to the absolute rawness of the music. It's about being part of the eye of the storm when it comes to rock and roll as a groupie. So when you watch that band, the passion leave the band, you watch them get isolated, you watch them kind of tear apart, it all of a sudden goes from about, well, this riff sounds good with this one, or hey, I wrote these lyrics, can you write something, to no, I get my own dressing room and my own writer, and each individual has their own contracts. So when stuff like that happens, they get their own contracts, their own planes, their own dressing room, their own buses. Like Glenn Tipton has his own bus that he likes to, because he doesn't want to fly all the time. I think he used to share it with KK, but another thing that happens when you're too selfish in the band too, you kick out one half of the fucking dynamic that made the band amazing in the first place. So, and it's like when a lot of rock bands, they first start rehearsing, they first start coming together, they first start touring, making their first couple albums, there's this passion and spirit that's so incendiary, that's just on fire, that's like a phoenix rising, and doesn't always rise back, because even the fights with the band and stuff, it's still somehow connecting with making these guys connect with each other, but all that goes away when the corporate comes in and the music business starts to, you get separate managers, you get separate assistants, you get separate this and this and that. All of a sudden there becomes this camp, that camp, this camp, that camp. So how are you supposed to be connecting as human beings with this band? Because that's the way you made the music first. And it is devastating to the group, because you're watching this fall apart. You're watching your band. You've got your best friend groupie with the drummer while you're with the lead singer, and they start growing apart. So you and your friend are kind of kept apart as well. It's very disturbing and mentally exhausting, to be quite honest. And I see where Patty was coming from, because She was kind of in the middle of all that, and she had kids involved. She had a whole life involved. She was became a drug addict with him. She couldn't take care of things her own self. She needed her man, and her man was leaving her. But then, like I said, when she said the Rolling Stones became the corporation, then that becomes the priority. The business that keeps those beautiful houses, keeps you running from the cops in fucking Switzerland or whatever, keeps me on fucking banned private jets and shit. That corporation, when they start to wander in, they kind of start to loom over. Like, like we all know the picture of Warren on Big Fat Stinkin' Rich album, whatever that one was, one that I used on the Janie Lane episode. But that's kind of what rock and roll becomes. I'll put it up here. This, rich fat man cartoon, whatever. But it's a typical thing we see. This to me is what happens when the music business starts. This is what happens when it starts to get its foot in the door, which is okay. As a band, when I first started hanging out, most bands had control of everything because the creativity was the center of attention when it came to the bands, when music business, when I started. But then when corporate and, labels and stuff started getting more streamlined and looking into formulas and stuff. I mean, like boy bands, I don't even know how boy bands do it because they are corporate from the start. They don't even write their own music. They're told what to do, who to be. This is your personality, blah, 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 blah. And look what happened with all the boy bands. Every single one of them fucked over by management. Band implodes. That's when that shit happens. With Pantera, band imploded because things were getting, and they never really went corporate. Vince and Paul was really good about keeping that band true to who they were in their core. The reason the one album, what was it? Great Southern Trendkill bombed because they just hate each other. Phil was a junkie and they just phoned it in. Phil literally phoned that shit in. So that album sucked. And speaking of phoning it in, when that happens, when that creative and passion and incendiary brotherhood and that connection between the band members, when you're in the studio, something just happens. You play a riff, you write down a lyric, a line, a sentence, a chorus, whatever. You do a drum lick. Sorry, I have to keep kind of clearing my throat because still expelling the stuff. It's just not pretty. So, but anyway, when that's happening and like Metallica has phoned in their albums, literally phoned them in, been in different parts of the world, the country, whatever, sitting in their own studios, in their own ego, in their own world, in their own ideas, not open to anything else, shutting shit down, being diffurers, whatever. James Hetfield. Anyway, so when that's happening, the music suffers. Their performance suffers. You have to keep that machine going. And even though someone's voice may suck, like let's look at Motley Crue. Nikki Sixx has kept that machine rolling way longer than it should. You put Band-Aids and a little bit too much jump in the battery of Motley Crue. That vehicle needs to be fucking in the junkyard. Because look at Vince Neil. His voice has sucked for decades. He can't even fucking last on stage. He can barely breathe. He doesn't even bother trying to make the lyrics sound comprehensible. You know what I mean? And let's face it, James's voice is suffering. It's not very good lately. I heard a clip the other day from a recent show and I thought, oh fuck, dude, you need to take a break. Step back on the sogies, pull your head out of between the crotch of that twisted piece of shit thing you call your girlfriend and take care of your voice, but it's like that stuff kind of, the quality, believe it or not, actually falls by the wayside when bands become corporate because, again, like you said, you have to keep the machine rolling. Bon Jovi said it in theirs, James Hetfield, Lars, everybody has said, we got to keep the Metallica machine. So all of a sudden it's a machine and it's not a band full of people. So your mental approach is going to be very, very different to the songs. What do the fans want to hear? And that feeds some of the fans kind of, and not all the fans, because I know a lot of really amazing Metallica fans here and different music fans, Motley Crue fans, stuff like that. But when do you stop? Like with these package tours, every year it's Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Journey, Def Leppard and Journey, Motley Crue and Journey, Def Leppard and Motley Crue and Poison, Poison and Journey. It's the same fucking package tour because it's corporate. Let's just keep doing this. It's kind of very lemming. We don't see anything really exciting and new or amazing anymore because it's the same old fucking corporately crunched up, set up tours. Nobody different. I mean, I remember when it was like Motley Crue and Bon Jovi, Motley Crue and Loudness, Motley Crue and Rat, Motley Crue and Poison, Motley Crue and these and these and these, it was changing, or Poison and Tesla, or whatever. You know what I mean? It was always something different, something exciting. It brought a whole new element to the tour and the road that made it exciting. So, of course, when you constantly have Motley Crue just beating the dead horse out there, and I don't mean Tommy Lee's, but when you have, and because Vince Neil is the dead horse of Motley Crue. The rest of them can play. Their guitar player's gone, and Mick was a huge personality in the band, but got to keep the machine running, so we'll just get another guitar player. Kind of like Pantera, those scabs that I will call Zach and Charlie. You don't have to keep that machine running because Vincent Paul didn't want it running. It was no longer what the passion, the incendiary, even the fights that made the music, even the tension in the band, because that's going to happen. Even all that which made the music exciting and passionate and angry and everything we love in a good song that really reaches out to us. That's not Pantera. They're just sitting up there. Zach Kenny was never half the guitar player that Vin was, or that Dime was. And Charlie is certainly nowhere near the drummer that Vincent Paul was. Vin was an amazing drummer. People don't realize just how truly amazing he was. But then again, here you are. Now, the machine needs money. The corporation needs money, so they're just going to go out. We don't care. I don't care what Vincent said. That, Pantera reunion is getting the original members back together, and that can never happen with Pantera. Again, the machine needed to be fed. So this is happening. Again, corporate. Because someone chose it. You know what I mean? It's just, there isn't the same passion or creativity or chemistry on stage that even used to exist in Motley Crue. There's definitely not that in Metallica, because look at them. They're all just so into their egos and their gods and their kings, and everybody puts them on the pedestal and they're believing it. From the corporation to the band, the front row Joes, because not all fans are front row Joes. Let me take that back, because we all know that front row Joe that's just overzealous, that no, he can do no wrong. He's on a pedestal. I love him. He's beautiful. He's such a sweetheart. Yeah, we all know that one overzealous fan that will just glorify them shit, Jerry Cantrell shitting on Janet. Oh, it's a rock star thing, whatever. But like I said, Metallica became corporate a long time ago, and that really hurt Danny and I. We watched that band go from that fucking passion, hungry human beings, brothers out on the road, to what they are now off that stage. And off that stage, you guys don't know how much it really does affect what happens on stage. We've all seen that video of James throwing his guitar to the good, and that was 100% intentional. James throwing a fit. James, I knew, never would have fucking done that, because he was still a human being. It wasn't the machine. He wasn't lost in the godlike status and the ego, because that's what happens. Look at U2. Look at the Rolling Stones. Like I said, look at the whole package tours that we see every year, again and again and again. And I don't mean this negative towards like anybody, but Bush and Jerry Cantrell, Bush and Alice in Chains, they've been going around for years and years and years. It's like, I thought rock and roll was supposed to be rebellious, unpredictable, exciting. Not with the corporate, because corporate wants predictable. They want growth. They want sales. They want this. They want that. They want this. Everything's lined up on their fucking little papers and their, corporate, their emails, their whatever, their growth reports, because that's what happens when corporate comes in. It takes away the originality, the camaraderie, the humanness, the unpredictableness, the rebelliousness, the laughter, the groupies. I mean, fuck, corporations gone so much us groupies. We just, ladies, get out there and change that shit. I'm not even lying. You want to be a groupie, no matter what age you are, go to that fucking hotel bar, because guess what? Rock and roll needs you more than ever, because you are the heart and soul that will keep that shit beating sometimes. Because some groupies, we just need to fucking pull these guys' heads out of their asses, you know? And that's the thing, when your band loses your groupies, even as friends, like I'm friends with some of the bands that I hung out with still got to dinner drinks. When you lose your friendships like that, you're losing your humanness. I mean, at least Aerosmith was smart enough to hang up the towel and not keep that machine going. You know, Bon Jovi's still out there, and John's not going to be able to talk in a few years. You know, because you got to keep that machine going. And another thing that the corporation bought into, and bought being the keywords, using your VIP visa for the backstage pass experience. You know, that kind of turned the world as well, because all of a sudden the band's like, oh, well, let's capitalize on the groupies. We have to get approved, as you guys saw from, you know, the Oris thingy, which I am going to be talking about, the Bush tour and stuff. It's just, there's nothing really crazy because it's corporate. So, I mean, that whole VIP visa backstage passes, that's cool. But what happened to the days when you actually won them and someone tried really, really hard to win that, and it was, you know, you won that pass from the fucking radio station or the TV station or whatever, you ran into him, you got on the guest list, you know, through a friend of a friend type of thing, whatever. That was fun to get a backstage pass that way if you weren't a groupie, right? That was fun to try and call and hurry up and speed dial 500 different times till you won that backstage pass and ticket for the next show. That was a blast. But now it's like VIP visa. Let's just make some more money of it. Because there's no... With the corporation, there's also no remembering the fans. Yeah, you can buy your way backstage. But God forbid, you know, they're going to suck everything out of you. Because now price gouging, that's another thing with corporation. I mean, come on. Kroger, the biggest grocery store chain in America, who owns 1,200 different chains. They just admitted to price gouging because they're fucking corporate greed. With bands, again, price gouging for what? What does a VIP visa cost you? A VIP visa package. $1,500, $2,000 a piece per person. It's free for me, bitches. You know, and I think that's what we need to give back. The corporations, they don't give back to the fans like the bands used to, like the radio stations used to. And it takes a lot out of the experience of going to the concert, because it does build that energy. It does build that appreciativeness. You know, instead of that fake, we love you guys, we love you Houston, we love you Ohio, whatever, you know, that same old shit, different fucking city in the we love you, you're the best crowd. It just takes so much away from that, from not just the writing of the music, but the enjoyment of it at the concert, you know, because you saw those people out in the crowd that were so excited they were going to go meet their favorite band, because they worked so hard on that phone when we didn't even have a push button, we didn't have redial, they just hurried up and dialed that phone, dialed the phone, you know, and won that backstage pass. I was so excited to always see those people in the meet and creep, you know. And now it's like, you know how I told the story of the ladies backstage when the VIP visas first started coming about. I was backstage at Aerosmith, of all places, in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand, and just minding my own business, sitting on a road case, talking Tony Bon Jovi, a few other roadies, Chris, Rob, whoever that I knew. I was like, hey, catching up, before I was going back to the dressing rooms. Well, the dressing rooms were in a separate hallway, had security guards sitting there, and you needed specific passes to get to there. So there was a bunch of ladies, and this is when the movie Almost Famous, bunch of crap. Cameron Crowe was not from LA, people, for those of you. But anyway, so these three ladies walked by me while I was sitting on the road cases talking to Tony and everybody. And, because y'all didn't know who he was back then, after the Bon Jovi documentary, y'all know who he is now, don't you? I knew who he was since I was fucking 15 years old. But anyway, so, I was just sitting there, and these three ladies who had bought their VIP visas didn't know anybody, but just sort of wandered off from the room, looking the part with their scarves tied around their jeans and their, Penny Lane fur and stuff like that. And they walked me there and go, "Oh, look, it's Penny Lane," so degradingly. And then when they were bitching at the security guard because they couldn't get back to where the dressing rooms were, and I walked by with my specific pass, I was like, "Yeah, don't you wish you were Penny Lane now?" That's the kind of attitude that's backstage now, because, because some people, not everybody who's buying the VIP Visa packages, they, because Visa was one of the first people that started offering these packages. That's why I call them that. But you saw the fans who just saved up for years back in that meet and creep room. You saw them and you were so excited for them. But then you saw the bitches who were trying to get back to the dressing room as well. They were like, "We're just pretty and better than you. We're going to get to the band. We have backstage passes." Yeah, you bought them, bitches. So it just really, when bands go to the corporate direction, it just really stifles and smothers and really just totally takes away the human being from the experience. It takes away from the writing. It takes away from the concert experience, the groupie experience. You have to watch your bands implode, and you have to make a decision to sit with crap or to, walk away and move on to the next. It just has such a domino effect. And I think it's time to get the corporations out of our music. Seriously. Eminem, he will never go corporate. Listen to his music. It has been a fucked up journey that he has taken us on with his life. And a triumphant one at times. And now it's a calm and passionate one. And he's, Taylor Swift even does it with her lyrics. Like I said, I can tell you Metallica used to do it their lyrics. You know what I mean? They would look at a situation or be in a situation and write a song. And that so doesn't happen very much anymore, because just got to keep the machine rolling. Got to feed the machine. Money. Because another thing that, and where price gouging comes from is because when the corporation comes in and the band members all of a sudden become individual entities instead of the band, and they're getting their own dressing rooms, their own planes, their own tour buses, their own, riders, their own shit like that. When they're getting all that, what you're also don't realizing why all these prices are going up, because Hawk, he's someone I follow. He was Lars. I've talked about him. He was Lars's divorce lawyer, but he also said, "Well, I got them $1 million each per concert, so $4 million just to get those boys to step on those stage." Where do you think that's coming from? The ticket prices, the t-shirt prices. Fuck, I bought a beer out of Busch, a beer that I know is $2.99 sorry, my bangs are just bitch today, but $2.99 in the grocery store or the liquor store. Not even that. I think they're $2.19. This mango one from our locals you went to, or the peach one. Anyway, $2.19. Danny and I each got a beer. I paid for them. $39 without the tip. $39 fucking dollars. When the fuck did I start having to pay $19 a fucking beer that's $2.50 on the goddamn grocery store shelf? And not even a fucking high percent beer like this. Not even an 11%er. This is a 5%er that you can get off the grocery store, not in the liquor stores, because that's the law in Utah. 5% or below, grocery store. 5% or above, or made with alcohol. That's why you see in Utah, like some White Claws in the liquor store, some's in the grocery store, even though it's the same percentage. One is made with vodka, one is made with malt beverage. So $2.99 or $2.50, 19 cents, whatever, and I'm paying 19 fucking dollars for a beer at an arena. And that's why, you guys, because corporate, you've got to make sure that the crew is paid, because definitely some of those crew members are worth their pennies. Oris is definitely one of them. Tater, definitely one of them. He's a monitor guy that I think is retired now, but one of the best in the business. Rex King, Ian Jeffries, Jake Berry. These guys aren't cheap, but the most expensive one are the guys standing on that stage. So, Hawk, I don't think that was anything to brag about, that you're price gouging that you getting each member of Metallica $1 million per person per concert, that is being at the cost of the fans. And that's what corporate doesn't care. Just like at the grocery stores, like I said with Kroger, they do not care. They started price gouging during COVID and kept it going. And they admitted it. And that's what's happening when corporate world takes over rock and roll. The fans, the passion, the groupies, the road family, the family at home, the human being on that stage, they don't matter. The human being not being able to perform, doesn't matter. Keep that machine rolling, right? Gotta say this about y'all machines. I prefer my rock stars recluse and wild and passionate and free. Why else do you think again to rock and roll? It's rebellious. It's its own entity, you know? I mean, I don't think I could ever see Kurt Cobain. I know they would have gone corporate, but it's like Pantera. They were never really corporate. They were huge, big, and one of the metal bands that were still doing in the top 10 when nobody, Pink or Britney Spears and everybody else was in the top 10 on the Billboard charts. There was Pantera. But Vincent Paul, he kept them small town, so to speak, not big city. And I think that's where we need to go back to rock and roll. So ladies, get out to that fucking hotel bar. Go shake those boys up. Give them a little fucking something back, because even the corporate world has got the fucking road boring as hell. We need to wake rock and roll up again. So yeah, let's do it, guys. Let's get the corporate out of our fucking lives. Let's go back to the mom and pop, the human beings, the connecting, the getting angry and writing a song, the feeling great in writing a song, having the best orgasm in writing a song. You know, not just some fucking formula. Rock and roll has never been about music. Is not a formula. It's a passion. You think Beethoven was writing on a formula? No. He couldn't even fucking hear. That man was writing from within. Just saying is all. It's where we need to go back to. So there we go. That's my fucking rant and opinion for the day. And thank you to everybody who's got through every episode with me to the end. You guys rock. I just love you so much. And I always know who is, because you guys just really, sometimes I throw shit in the end, you know, like I said. Don't forget, this Saturday, September 7th, 1 a.m., 91.1 The Tribe in Adelaide, Australia. I'll be live, and I'm gonna see if I can record it and use it as an episode here as well. So, because not everybody is gonna be up at that time, so I'll at least put the link. It'll probably be on their website or whatever. But like I said, I'll probably end up recording it with my phone and putting it here. So I'm so excited, and thank you, Tina. I love you so much, everybody, for getting really just being fucking amazing. So thank you so much to everybody who makes it through the videos, who is commenting, who is just hanging out, who is lurking, who is even out of spite just haunting my channel, watching me and posting hate on me on TikTok about Ed Collects. No, that video was moved real quick, didn't you? Of course you did. Even you haters, thank you, because y'all dumbasses bitch and moan about me on TikTok and stuff, and well, brings more people to the channel, so thanks. Cheers, big ears. Yeah. All right. And for those of you just lurking, having fun with us, hanging out, don't forget to go down and hit that subscribe, hit the share if you want to be a member. I'm going to be doing some lives for members because I really want to thank my members here. So hit everything, use your fingers, fiddle about, hit the bells. We'll see you next time on Cocktails Rocktails. Cheers, big ears.